Kunja Bihari. Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradhari. Jai Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradhari. Yashodanandana Braja Jana Ranjana. Yashodanandana Braja Jana Ranjana. Yashodanandana Braja Jana Ranjana. Yamuna Tira Vanachari. Yamuna Tira Vanachari. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari. Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradhari. Yashodanandana Braja Jana Ranjana. Yamuna Tira Vanachari. Yamuna Tira Vanachari. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari. Srila Prabhupada ki Jai. Samaved Bhaktivedanta ki Jai. Grantraj Śrīmad Bhāgavatam ki Jai. Jai Nitai Gaura Premanandi. Hare Krishna. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam namaskritya naram chaiva narottamam devim saraswatim vyasam tatho jayamudhirayet नष्टप्रायेषु अभद्रेषु नित्यं भागवत सेवया भगवती उत्तमश्लोके भक्तिर्भवतीर्नैष्टिकी कृष्णाय वासुदेवाय देवकीनन्दनाय च नन्दगोपकुमाराय गोविन्दाय नमो नमः. Reading from Śrīmad Bhāgavatam, Canto 9, Chapter 9, Text 49. This is the last verse of this chapter, titled as The Dynasty of Amshuman. Text 49 goes as follows. Yattad brahma param sukshmam ashunyam shunyakalpitam Bhagavan Vasudeveti Yam Grinanti hi Satvatah Yattad Brahma Param Sukshmam Ashunyam Shunyakalpitam Bhagavan Vasudeveti Yam Grinanti Satvatah Yattad Brahma Param Sukshmam Ashunyam Shunyakalpitam Bhagavan Vasudeveti Yam Grinanti Satvatah Yattad Brahma Param Sukshmam Ashunyam Shunyakalpitam Bhagavan Vasudeveti Yam Grinanti Satvatah Yattad Brahma Param Sukshmam Ashunyam Shunyakalpitam Bhagavan Vasudeveti Yam Grinanti Satvatah Yattad Brahma Param Sukshmam Ashunyam Shunyakalpitam Bhagavan Vasudeveti Yam Grinanti Satvatah Yattad Brahma Param Sukshmam Ashunyam Shunyakalpitam Bhagavan Vasudeveti Yam Grinanti Satvatah. Matajis. Yattad Brahma Param Sukshmam Ashunyam Shunyakalpitam Bhagavan Vasudeveti Yam Grinanti Satvatah Yattad Brahma Param Sukshmam Ashunyam Shunyakalpitam Bhagavan Vasudeveti Yam Grinanti Satvatah Yattad Brahma Param Sukshmam Ashunyam Shunyakalpitam Bhagavan Vasudeveti Yam Grinanti Satvatah Yattad Brahma Param Sukshmam Ashunyam Shunya Kalpitam Bhagavan Vasudeveti Yam Grinanti Hi Satvataha. Mataji's need not necessarily chant one less than Prabhuji's. I've seen this over the years. If we chant 4 times, they will chant 3 times or 2 times. Okay. Yat, that which, tat, such, Brahma Param, Parabrahman, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Krishna, Sukshmam, spiritual, beyond all material conceptions, Ashunyam, not impersonal or void, Shunya Kalpitam, imagined to be void by less intelligent men, Bhagavan, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Vasudeva, Krishna, iti, thus, yam, whom, grinanti, sing about, he, indeed, satvataha, pure devotees. Translation. The Supreme Personality of Godhead, Vasudev, Krishna, is extremely difficult to understand for unintelligent men who accept him as impersonal or void, which he is not. The Lord is therefore understood and sung about by pure devotees. Purport. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. As stated in Śrīmad Bhāgavatam 1.2.11, Vadanti tat tattvavidas tattvam yajnanam advayam brahmeti paramatmeti bhagavaniti shabdyate. The absolute truth is realized in 3 phases, as Brahman, Paramatma and Bhagavan. Bhagavan is the origin of everything. Bhagavan is the origin of everything. Brahman is a partial representation of Bhagavan, and Vasudev, the super soul living everywhere and in everyone's heart, is also an advanced realization of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. But when one comes to understand the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Vasudeva Sarvamiti, when one realizes that Vasudev is both Paramatma and the impersonal Brahman, he is then in perfect knowledge. Krishna is therefore described by Arjuna as Param Brahma, Param Dham, Pavitram, Paramam Bhavan. The words Param Brahma refer to the shelter of the impersonal Brahman and also of the all-pervading Super Soul. When Krishna says, Tyaktva deham punarjanma naiti mameti, this means that the perfect devotee, after perfect realization, returns home back to Godhead. Maharaj Khatvanga accepted the shelter of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and because of his full surrender, he achieved perfection. Thus end the Bhaktivedanta purports of the 9th canto, 9th chapter of the Śrīmad Bhāgavatam, entitled The Dynasty of Amshuman. So this ends this particular chapter. And in the next chapter, that is chapter 10. If I have to speak like the Prime Minister of India, Hamare Ramji aa gaye. He is appearing in the chapter 10. So Lord Ramchandra is appearing. Okay, but I'm not fortunate. Last verse I got, but it's okay. Bhagavatam is anyway good from wherever you bite it. Maybe next month. But from tomorrow we will start that. Everyone is waiting for that. Lord Ramchandra, to hear about him. Yeah. Okay. So we'll discuss this last verse of this current chapter, the dynasty of Anshuman. Om Ajnanatimmirandasya Jnananjanashalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Sri Gurave Namaha Sri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamahyam Dadati Swapadantikam Mukham Karoti Vachalam Panghum Langhayate Girim Yat Kripa Tammaham Vande Sri Guru Dinatarinam Vanchakalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya eva cha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhar Srivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Yattad Brahma Param Sukshmam Ashunyam Shunyakalpitam Bhagavan Vasudeveti Yam Granantihi Satvataha. The Supreme Personality of Godhead, Vasudev Krishna, is extremely difficult to understand for unintelligent men who accept him as impersonal or void, which he is not. The Lord is therefore understood and sung about by pure devotees. So, up until now, this chapter, it started with Maharaj Bhagirath. It started with so many people. It came to Maharaj Bhagirath. He was the predominating personality in the initial part of the chapter. And how, that his desire was to bring the Ganges down to Mother Earth. And how it talks about how he succeeded in bringing Ganges down. She had two concerns. One was the force with which the Ganges comes down. Mother Ganga was not sure that anyone will be able to handle her force. And then Lord Shiva took it on his jata, and that's how that force was mitigated. But before that, the Ganges washed the feet of Lord Krishna, and that's why Lord Shivji took it on his head. And then the second concern she had was that I'll become contaminated because so many sinful people will come and wash their sins in the Ganges. So then the assurance was given to her that so many saintly personalities will also come who carry Lord Krishna in their heart. Bhavad Vida Bhagavatas Tirtha Bhuta Swayam Vibho Tirti Kurvanti Tirthani Swantasthena Gadabrata. Devotees who carry the Lord within their heart, they'll come and take bath in you, and therefore rather than you getting contaminated, you'll get purified, like that. So that happened, and then the whole lineage is being described. And then finally it comes down to Maharaj Khatvanga, who is the next prominent personality in the second part of this particular chapter. It is said that Maharaj Khatvanga, he assisted the Devatas in their fight against the demons, and his assistance proved crucial to the victory of the demigods. Therefore, obviously, the demigods were very obligated to him, and they were asking him, ask for a benediction. Maharaj Khatvanga could have asked for so many things from the Devi Devatas, but all he asked was he asked a question. He didn't ask for any benediction, he only asked them a question. What was the question? Kitna samay hai mere paas? How much time do I have in this material world? And they said, 1 moment, not even 7 days, like Parikshit Maharaj, he didn't even get that much time. 1 moment, right? So therefore he realized, and that was the 1 moment in the higher planets. So it said he returned to his palace. And then he invested whatever time that he had, whatever that 1 moment was, in whichever planet that he was. He invested that time in meditating on the Supreme Personality of Godhead. He did not waste any further time. And then how he attained the spiritual world. And that's how this chapter is, ending here. So that's where it comes. Maharaj Khatvanga, by his advanced intelligence, gave up false identification, and then rendering service He returned back to Godhead. And then Prabhupada, and then this is very interesting. Towards the end of this chapter, it is mentioned in today's verse, Krishna is extremely difficult to understand. By who? By the unintelligent men, who accept him as void, and which he is not. The Lord is therefore understood and sung about by pure devotees. So the entire Śrīmad Bhāgavatam, many times it is asked, what does Śrīmad Bhāgavatam try to say at the end of the day? What is the key message in Śrīmad Bhāgavatam? Many times this question is asked. What is the topmost message in Śrīmad, that the Śrīmad Bhāgavatam is trying to give us? Any thoughts? Very good. Lord Krishna is a person. And this verse is corroborating that. It's exactly what Śrīmad Bhāgavatam is trying to convey all the time, that Lord Krishna is a person. This is not just a concept that the impersonalists struggle with. Even we struggle with accepting Krishna as a person when we do our services, right? Sometimes we are in the altar, but we still don't see the person there, right? We still think, deity is different and Krishna, the person, is different. Even when we stand in front of the Lord, we don't think that he is a person. Many times when we discuss Prajalpa in the courtyard, we don't think that he is a person. He is listening from there, whatever we are talking. He is listening to everything. Right? When we fight in the temple premises, we don't understand that he is a person. He has sentiments. He has emotions. So, this is what the Śrīmad Bhāgavatam is again reiterating, at the end of the chapter. Because, and it's very interesting, because the next chapter is about one of the most famous manifestations, or compassionate manifestations of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Lord Ramachandra. In order to understand the transcendental aspect of Lord Ramachandra's pastimes, then as if to conclude, then this verse is reminding us that he is not impersonal and void, he is a personality. Now please be ready, because there are so many things that you will see in the next chapter by which you will think, oh my Lord, Lord Ramachandra is also suffering in this world. So therefore, we may start thinking that Maya is subjugating even Supreme Personality of Godhead. Even he is lamenting for the, when his wife is being kidnapped. So is he a hen-pecked husband? Is he not in control? Ravana comes, kidnaps, he is lamenting, Sita, Sita, where are you? So this verse is preparing us, telling us that no, the nature of these pastimes are transcendental, because Krishna is not an ordinary person. First of all, he is a person. Number two, he is not an ordinary person. So it's very interesting that this chapter is ending in this way. It's preparing us for the next chapter. Now, taking a moment, step back to Maharaj Khatvanga. He had one moment. So what did he use it for? Supreme Personality of Godhead. He started meditating on the Lord. This is very unlike this material world. If you ask people, you have few days to live, what will they say? I want to go on a world tour. Many people say that. I remember one famous batsman in India. He was the best batsman of India in the 1970s and 80s. He said, when I leave my body, I want to see that sixer which Mahendra Singh Dhoni hit. He's actually saying that. Okay, that's the smaran he wants to be in. A ball is being hit for a six outside the boundary. Right? So people have, it's not, we may laugh at this, right? But but unintelligent men consider this as a very intelligent thought, right? Which means he's trying to say that I want to die thinking, cricket, oh, cricket. That's what they want. And they think that this is something great. Look at his love, look at his dedication to cricket. Even when he's dying, he's thinking about cricket. Now the good part is, in the next lifetime, what will you come as? Not necessarily. Because it's very logical to say next lifetime he'll come as a cricketer. Not necessarily. Because there is one thing called as desire, another thing is called as merit. I may have a desire. I want to get into IIT Bombay, I want to do computer science. But if I don't have the merit, I will be the chowkidar of IIT Bombay, standing outside in the gate. Salam Shahab. Telling everyone, opening the door to IIT Bombay. So it's not just desire. Desire has to be backed by merit also. Otherwise, there are a lot of groundsmen who are pouring water. And then people are rolling the ground. Somebody is picking the water bottles which the crowd has thrown. We will be associated with the sport, right? Or we'll be that guy who's finding the ball which has been hit for a six outside the stadium. Somebody will go and find the ball now, and we'll be that person. So we have to have merit. Then only we'll succeed as a batsman, right? So desire and merit. But whatever desire, whatever merits we have, even if we come and become a cricketer, even the life of a cricketer is very short. Usually they don't know what to do with their lives after they reach success, so therefore they become commentators. After some time they lose that contract as well. Then what next in your life? Because you are always used to being chased by the paparazzi, by the media, and it gets to you. Glorification is the worst thing. When someone gets used to it, that person starts seeking that, and that person cannot live without that, because that becomes your primary source of happiness. Wherever I go, I am being glorified. So they don't know what to do with their, because nobody is glorifying now. That 1970s, 80s batsman, people are trolling him actually. Nobody is glorifying him, right? Because his time is over, like that. So therefore, these are not good benedictions to ask anyway. So we have to be very careful what we ask the Lord. So what is the thing to ask the Lord? Shuddha Bhakti, yes. But the problem with asking Shuddha Bhakti is what? Shuddha Bhakti will not come easy. It will come only after he fries us in the oil pan. It's not going to come easy. It's not that, we'll just keep coming and nicely, and then some Pushpa Viman will come outside Dank Street and say, 11A seat is waiting for you. Jain vegetarian has been ordered. In-flight entertainment is working. Please sit in the Pushpa Viman. And then we just step over death like Dhruva Maharaj and then, chalo, let's go. Not like that. It is not going to happen like that. We are going to be fried. He is going to give big tests to us, okay, to completely detach us from this, from the desire to enjoy this material world. And what is the last desire? Prestige. As someone said, we start with our karmi names, then we become Das, then we become Prabhu, then we become Prabhuji, then we become Mahaprabhu. We want to become like that. So Krishna will tear these desires, like he tore Narasimhadev, this Silatanka Nakhalaya, the desire for prestige. Because that's the desire which will come eventually. If we don't have achievements, anyway we will not get prestige. Correct. And when we have achievements, we will succumb to prestige. So tests will be given all the time. People who don't have prestige will seek prestige. People who have prestige will get proud. So he will continue testing till the last breath. There is no doubt about that. So we have to pass all these tests. Then only that Pushpa Viman will come. And we can go back to Godhead. Right? So sometimes people say that I pray to the Lord that let this be my last birth. That's also a dangerous prayer. If you want this to be your last birth, that means all our karmas has to be burnt in one birth. God knows what all we have done. So what kind of suffering we should get in this lifetime so that we can go back to Godhead in the end of this lifetime. But we all want to go back also in the end of this lifetime. That is also there. Anyone wants to come back again? I don't think so, right? Krishna Presthaya Bhutale. I want to come back. Life after life, don't. Swarga, Apavarga, Narakeshu, Apitulyartha Darshanam. It's not an easy prayer. Sometimes we shudder to think of coming back into this material world. Again, you have to go to that school, with that big bag, A for apple. And then, again work through the university, write your year 12 exams. Go to James and North Shore, Brain Works, Edu Kingdom. Who wants all that nonsense? Right? People will ask after that, Mila kya? Did your son get? Then we have to hide somewhere. No. So therefore, who wants to go through all these things? If we get, there is a problem. If we don't get, there is problem. Then after all that, where do we go? We land up. We land up as donkeys in the corporate world. Correct or no? Right? And what is the reward for good work? More work. It will never stop. The corporate, those masters will give the donkey more and more carrot to carry more, and full life goes like that. And then what happens when the donkey is a failure in corporate life? What happens? The donkey decides to live simple. But after that, the donkey gets married. And then what happens? If the other person says, what nonsense, look at that fellow. Why did I marry you? Useless fellow. Buy a house. You should know. So that's how what happens. Everything starts. Grahamanda Kupam. And then we start working. And then what happens? The donkey takes more than what it can chew. If the salary is what? $6,000-7,000, donkey will buy $1.8 million, $2 million auction. Because the she donkey is also standing there looking admiringly. And then both will take photo outside the property like that. And then after that the misery starts. Interest rates go up. Then the donkey is worried. The donkey was thinking to retire. But the donkey is going and asking, now boss is not saying more work. Donkey is asking for more work. I don't mind, sir. Sir, I'll stretch, sir. Sir, I'll deliver, sir. So no problem, sir. Sir, I'll do, sir. Yes, sir. You have to work 16 hours. No, sir, no problem, sir. Saturday, Sunday, no problem, I'll come. This is what will happen. Because now the donkey, the bank is holding the donkey's neck. Right or no? So this is the nature of material desires. But thankfully what happens? After 50, these desires go away. That's the good part. True or false? False. After 50, what happens? The donkey says, I have worked very hard throughout my life. I never had time to enjoy. Let me enjoy nicely with my family. And then what happens? Family itself is destroyed. And the donkey is thinking, what did I do all this life? Right? So this is the nature of the material world. The material world is designed to frustrate. Design itself is like that. If the car is not designed to fly, or no matter how much you press the accelerator, it is not going to fly. It will fly for a different reason. Right? So it is not designed. The car is not designed. So we are trying to push the punas charvitas charvananam, trying to extract the same juice, which nobody got any satisfaction from here, but we think we will, and we will not. And especially if we pray, this should be my last lifetime, that's a dangerous prayer, because what happens? Then heavy tests come also. And if we say, no Lord, a little bit, thoda dheere se, then he will say, okay, some more lifetimes, maybe that also we don't want. Then what do we want? Correct. So we have to be very clear what is our prayer to the Lord. If we pray this is the last time, we better be serious about it, and we better be ready. If you pray it is the last lifetime, you have to be ready like that fellow standing in the slip, It's a World Cup tournament and you can't drop that catch. Every ball you have to watch. You can't drop the ball. If this has to be the last lifetime. If we drop the ball, one more lifetime. Right? So, we have to be careful about what desires are getting built up within our heart. We have to keep checking our desires. And that's a struggle. It's a struggle. But it's a good thing. It's a good thing. When we start checking our desires, actually, seriously, it is only when we check our desires, there is some chance of becoming humble in this lifetime. Right? Because we'll come to know ourselves. Why am I doing whatever I am doing? This is a question we keep asking ourselves. Why am I doing whatever I am doing? Why do I wake up in the morning? Why am I doing this? Why am I saying this? Why am I talking to this person? Why am I Why am I trying to influence someone? What do I want at the end of the day? And we check our desires. So every moment is introspection. And when we come to that point, then it becomes very easy for us to come face to face with ourselves. And then our prayers will also start becoming a little bit more genuine. Otherwise, our prayers are either mechanical or ingenuine. Our prayers will start becoming genuine only when we really come to know who we are inside and what anarthas we have within our heart. Till that time, we will just have we will not get deeper. We will be still swimming on the surface. That's true for me as well. Swimming on the surface. So, Maharaj Khatvanga, he had this excellent opportunity to develop more desires. Now the demigods are coming and asking him, what do you want? He could have asked so many things, but he just got away from the demigods. I remember when the doctor told about about Yamuna Lila Mataji, on the 23rd February she left. And he said that now she's got very less time. It's the next 24 to 48 hours she will be gone. So doctor prepared me, Hare Krishna, the day before. So, and we were, that morning, she was not able to speak much. But the conversation I remember which we had was, I told her that today, if you leave, then so many things will come on the way when you leave. Demigods will come and offer heavenly planets, and so many things could come, because I don't know what she would encounter. But what I wanted was one thing clearly. I said, if you go straight to Krishna. Rukna nahi, I told her. Sida. I told her also, she was smiling like this. I told her it is like Churchgate to Virar fast local. It doesn't stop. In Mumbai, there is one Churchgate station and then there is Virar on the other side. The train doesn't stop anywhere. Fast train. So I said, do not stop anywhere. Lot of temptations will come along the way. If it comes, just continue saying that, no, I don't want this. Till you see the lotus feet of Krishna, keep moving. Light will come. Peaceful light, Brahman. Because we have heard so many near-death experiences, where people get caught up in the light. Light will come, go through the other end to the light, go to the source of the light, right? And there again, go back. We were discussing this. Even previous day also we were discussing this. Because I think she came to know and she told me also that I'm going to leave, which she hid from me. So, we have to help each other with our desires. Tomorrow I may be in that situation, somebody else may be in that situation. So even I want to be reminded, don't seek anything else. There, what happened? Heavenly planet Urvashi will come. Gone. Correct. Right? Or that handsome Hulk will come. Who is that? Devata. Like Salman Khan, he will come. So we have to be careful not to get caught in straight trains not stopping anywhere. So we have to close our windows so that we don't see all those stations. Just get down at the destination like that. So Maharaj Khatvanga was like that. Though he had these temptations, he shut all the doors. He said, I just want to shut myself out. I don't want demigods, thank you very much. I don't want any benedictions from you all, because benedictions given by demigods will bind us. He had one moment. One moment is what he had. Maharaj Parikshit had 7 days. And Maharaj Parikshit had a similar question. The whole canto 2 opens with what? With that question. What is that question? What is the duty of a man about to die? And that's a very good question to ask. Varya nesate prashna krito loka hitam nripa atmavit samhita pumsam shrotavyadishu yat paraha. Beautiful question you have asked. I congratulate you on your fantastic question. This is the question we have to ask. What is the duty of a person who is about to die? And that question is for all of us, because we are going to die. So, and then Sukadeva Goswami answers so many beautiful verses. He says, Shrota Vyadini Rajendra Nirnam Shanti Sahasraha Apashyatam Atmatattvam Griheshu Grihamedinam. So he says that this is a very good question you have asked, because the Grihamedis don't ask this question. They have many more subject matters for Shrota, for Hearing. But this is the subject matter for hearing. The answer to this question is what must be heard. But most Grihamedis, what do? Nidraya hriyate naktam vyavayena chavavayaha. Diya cha arthahaya rajan kutumba bharanenava. Most of the Grihamedis are only involved in eating, sleeping, mating and defending. In fact, nowadays the world is not even engaged in eating and sleeping. Most of the time it is engaging in what? Mating and defending. In fact, now I don't even know mating, but defending is going on. Every country is throwing nuclear missiles, missile at other. You can see the amount of defending that's happening now. Russia, Ukraine, Iran and Israel, right? More and more people are going to join the defending game, right? Everyone is trying to defend, increase their defense budgets. And when you increase defense budgets, where does it come from? From your and our tax. And where does it go from? It doesn't go for agricultural, cow protection. Everything goes towards defense. That's how the world is going to get destroyed. Taxes will go as these wars happen. As the defense budget goes up, government will increase taxes because they have to get it from every missile you and I are paying for. Right? And that one which was unleashed in Iran recently, it cost some billions of dollars, that aircraft and that thing. So defending. So nidraya hriyate naktam. And then dehapatya kalatra adishu. Atma sainyashva sattva api. Grihamedis are too much attached to family life because all of us are going to go separately. So beautiful instruction Sukadeva Goswami is giving Maharaj Parikshit. Of course, he tells all this, but then he gives a solution also in the next verse. What does he say? Tasmat bharata sarvatma bhagavan ishvaro harihi. Shrotavya kirti tavyasta smartavyascha ichchata abhayam. So he says that without fear worship the Supreme Personality of Godhead. That is the duty of a man about to die. What he says, without fear. And he also says, later on, he follows it up in another verse where he says, Etan nirvadyamananam ichchatam akuto bhayam yoginam rapa nirnitam Hare nama anukirtanam. This is the doubtless and fearless way back to Godhead. And he gives a solution. Solution is what? Chanting. Chanting the holy names of the Lord. Doubtless and fearless process. So, Maharaj Bhagirath's Maharaj Khatwanga's situation is very similar to Sukadeva Goswami. Of course, it seems that he has lesser time. So Prabhupada, so that's one theme that's coming in this chapter, in this particular text. The second is, what is the absolute truth? So Prabhupada writes here, Vadanti tat tattva vidas, from first canto of Śrīmad Bhāgavatam, that the absolute truth is understood in three phases: Brahman, Paramatma and Bhagavan. So first is Lord Krishna as Brahman. So what is Brahman? Brahman can be understood in different ways. From a spiritual point of view, Brahman is the effulgence which comes from the body of the Lord. We all know that. It is the light. And it is the light from which everything else comes. Right? We are also Brahman. We are spirit. Brahman is spirit. Nirguna Brahman is spirit. But Brahman is understood materially as what? The primeval cosmic substance. For example, if this is made of plastic, plastic comes from resin. Resin comes from petrochemicals. It comes from petroleum. Petroleum comes from earth. Earth comes from where? Science stops there. Material science over. No answer to that. Right? So earth comes from Mahat Tattva. Tattva comes from Pradhan. Pradhan comes from Brahman. Pradhan comes from Brahman. And Brahman comes from, that people don't know. Some people don't know that. They think Krishna comes from Brahman. That's the difference between Brahmavad and our philosophy, right? So, Mayavad means what? Maya is supreme. Maya can subjugate Bhagavan. And Brahmavad means Brahman is the highest understanding for Brahmavadis. It is even more superior than the conception of form. So, but Lord Krishna clarifies that. He clarifies everything. He says, I am Brahman, I am Paramatma and I am Bhagavan. In 14.27 Bhagavad Gita, Lord says, Brahmano hi pratishtha aham. I don't come from Brahman. Brahman comes from me. I am the basis of the impersonal Brahman, which is immortal, imperishable and eternal, and is the constitutional position of ultimate happiness. Then he says that I am Paramatma. Where does he say that? He says this in Bhagavad Gita 10.20, 10.20. Lord says, Aham Atma Gudakesha Sarva Bhutasya Stitaha Aham Adischa Madhyamcha Bhutanam Anta Evacha. I am the super soul. He's clearly saying, I am Paramatma. There's no ambiguity there. I am the super soul, O Arjuna, seated in the hearts of all living entities. I am the beginning, the middle, and the end of all beings. So he has clearly said in Bhagavad Gita, he is Brahman, source of Brahman. He says that I am Paramatma. Again, 13.23, the Lord says, I am Upadrushta and I am Anumanta. There again he is saying that I am the super soul. And what do I do as a super soul? I am the witness and the sanctioner. When no one sees something that I have done, then who has seen? Paramatma has seen. And he has already noted it. Right? And that's how we get our next birth. Prabhupada says at the end of our lifetime, the soul is carried by who? By the subtle body. Just like Prabhupada says in Science of Civilization, just like the aroma of a flower is carried by the wind, the soul is carried by the subtle body. But the subtle body carries the soul, but the subtle body doesn't have a free will of its own in that sense. The subtle body cannot decide where to carry the soul. Karmana daiva netrena jantur deha upapatteya. It is done under the jurisdiction of Paramatma, the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So otherwise subtle body can take us anywhere. Subtle body definitely carries our desires, but Paramatma knows our merits also to fulfill our desires. So Paramatma is there to supervise all that. Without Paramatma's sanction, we cannot get our next birth. That's why it's witness as well as sanctioner. Then again in 15.15, Lord says, Sarvasya chaham hridi sannivishto. Again the Lord says that I am the source of smriti, jnanam and apohanam. Smriti means remembrance, knowledge and forgetfulness. So Prabhupada says that the Krishna conscious knowledge is not something that has to come from outside. It is already within our heart. Right? So based upon the sincerity of our sadhana, our Paramatma reveals to us from within the heart. Tesham evanu kampartam aham ajnana jamtamaha nashayami atma bhavasto jnana deepena bhashvata. Based on the sincerity of our sadhana, he will decide at what pace he wants to reveal himself. Ye yatha mam prapadyante tam tathaiva bhajamyaham. We decide the pace of our spiritual life. Everyone has to fly his own plane. Nobody else is going to decide our pace. It's we who have to decide. Is this going to be the end of, do I want to go back at the end of this lifetime? Or I want to, okay, I'll take it easy. He'll give me more chances. Aram se jate. That is something we have to decide. But that knowledge is already within. He reveals to us. That's why he says 15. He says jnanam from within the heart. And then apohanam. He gives forgetfulness of our past life. Thankfully. And then he also says the third feature. Lord Krishna says, I am Bhagavan. Where does he say that? 10.8. Aham sarvasya prabhavo mattaha sarvam pravartate. So he says, I am Brahman, I am Paramatma, and I am Bhagavan. I am the source of all spiritual and material worlds. Everything emanates from me. So the Shastras reveal that Brahman is only the Sat feature of the Lord. Brahman realization will only make us understand the eternality of spirit. Because Brahman at the end of the day is what? Light. And that light is spirit. And that is eternal. So a person who is Brahman realized, he has only understood the eternality feature of the Lord. But a person who has understood, has had Paramatma realization. So Jnana Yogis attain Brahman realization. Ashtanga Yogis attain Paramatma realization. Because when the Jnana Yogi is seeing light everywhere outside, and the Jnana Yogi gets attracted to the light, at some point in time the Jnana Yogi goes further in his quest and tries to seek who is behind that Hiranyamayana Patrena, behind that light. What is the source of that light? And the source of the light is inside as Paramatma. The localized source of that all-pervading light is within your own heart. So they close their eyes and meditate into Dhyana Yoga. And that's how they go inside their heart. And when that matures, then what happens? The Lord gives them darshan of the form. Brahman is formless. But then now you have got form. So Ashtanga yogis have understood the form aspect of the Lord. But then understanding the form of the aspect of the Lord is only the second aspect. What is the third aspect? What remains after understanding the form? What do we understand? Relationship with the Lord. For example, I have understood the form of, Virat Kohli. Okay, I have seen him. But if I go and tell Virat Kohli, hello Virat, I have got vada pav for you, do you think he'll accept from me? He'll say, media, just keep this fellow away from here. Right? No, I'm a big fan. He says, you may be a big fan, but I will not eat whatever you give, because I don't trust you. Okay, and I don't know you. Why should I accept anything from you? But from his wife, she will be feeding him very nicely, and he'll eat anything. Even if it doesn't have salt, he will accept. Correct or no? Chupchap he will eat. Right? Because there is a relationship over there. So it's not just about proximity. It's about relationship. Relationship is the highest proximity. Even when the person is not in front of us. In fact, that is the highest, it is said, Vipralamba. So, the Sat aspect is only eternality, Chit aspect is eternality and knowledge. And the third aspect is what? Anand, bliss. We cannot get that Anand till we understand Rasa Tattva, till we establish relationship with the Lord. The soul will always hanker for tapo divyam putra kayena sattvam shuddhyed yasmad brahma saukhyam tvanantam. That Anand has to be sought. That Anand can be sought only when we are able to do our sadhana in such a way that we are able to understand our eternal relationship with the Supreme Lord in one of the rasas. So, His Holiness Burijan Prabhu, he had called, I don't know whether I said this before, but when I was in Mumbai for my wife's, Hare Krishna, please sit, please help yourself. When I was in Mumbai, Burijan Prabhu called and asked me that, tell me about the last week of your wife, what all she desired. Okay, so and one of the things, I don't want to talk about her more, but one of the things that I told Burijan Prabhu was, she said she wants to play with Krishna on the banks of the Yamuna, and that's what she wanted to. She was her final desire, and therefore she asked me to, read, continuously from, Vraja Leela book of Dinabandhu Prabhu. So, and then he asked me, and what is your desire? And I was in lamentation at that time. So I said, my desire is to get out of this miserable world. Get out of this miserable world. I just spontaneously said that, obviously, because I lost the person who I loved most. And I said, I don't want to live here. In a world where she is not, I don't want to wake up, like that. So he corrected me. He checked me. He said, that is a desire for yourself. That's not a desire for Krishna. But her desire was her desire gave pleasure to Krishna. Like that. So he said, now you must cultivate that desire the rest of your life. Cultivate desires to have relationship with Krishna in a specific manner. Your unique relationship with Krishna, you have to. That's the quest of the rest of life. Like that. So this is what a saintly person can do. In one sentence, they can give you a mission for your lifetime. This is what pure devotees can do. And we are very fortunate. It's such personalities are a gift of Srila Prabhupada in our lives. Srila Prabhupada has already given a gift in terms of his books and lectures. But Srila Prabhupada left a second lineage for us, without which we would be nowhere. Right? Yes, we would have understood Prabhupada's books, but still we need someone to tell us, no? That is why it's very important to have living spiritual, because they will then interact with you, and they are so compassionate on you that they will know where you are and what vulnerabilities you have, and they'll pierce through those and they'll give you something by which you will get clarity. Right? So, Maharaj Khatvanga is now, cultivating his desires. Demigods are there in front of him, giving him all kinds of, they are ready to give him all kinds of benedictions. But he doesn't want to be swayed into anything else. He wants to maintain his focus. And that's the goal of this verse. So, Krishna is a person. Prabhupada is hammering in this purport that Krishna is not void or impersonal. In fact, Prabhupada's Pranati mantra is also like that. Nirvishesha shunyavadi paschata desatarine. Today's verse is Prabhupada's Pranati mantra in that sense. Right? He went to destroy this. Because why? When Buddhism was rampant in India, Gautam Buddha preached against he didn't preach against the Vedas. He said, keep the Vedas aside. You people are not ready for it. Just like Jesus Christ said to all to many of his followers, he said, there are many more things that I want to tell you, but you guys are not ready for it. Right? So therefore, whatever Jesus Christ spoke, he clearly said that I have not told you everything. So it's still incomplete. Right? Whereas what Lord Krishna told Arjuna, I have told you everything that needs to be known. So we can compare and contrast. So, but when Gautam Buddha came, what did he do? He saw people where there was animal slaughter. People were sacrificing the animals, and they were saying, Vedas has mentioned that animal sacrifice is allowed. Yes, Vedas still say that animal sacrifice has to be done. But when the Vedas talk about animal sacrifice is not through sending them to a butcher. Animal sacrifice is through what? The power of mantra shakti, where through the power of mantras, the animal which was in an old body was rejuvenated. It was taken and given a new body, and then the old body was offered into the sacrifice. Right? That too in specific situations. That was not the primary yajna. Primary yajna is yajna which Sankirtan yajna. But what people did was, people started only looking at select portions from the Vedas. Therefore, Gautam Buddha came and said, you fools, you are unintelligent, so you keep the Vedas aside because you are not qualified. You will derive various interpretations based on your own convenience. User-friendly instructions you will take from the Vedas. But because he gave that instruction, Shankaracharya had to come later on and do Punarsthapana of the Vedas. He had to re-establish the Vedas, because without the Vedas, how will you get knowledge of Dharma, Artha, Kama, Moksha and Panchama Purushartha? We can't. Therefore, he re-established the Vedas. But when he re-established the Vedas, and who was Shankaracharya? Lord Shiva. Lord Shiva had an instruction. In the Uttarkand, it is mentioned in Padma Puran. Lord Shiva himself tells Parvati that Lord Krishna has given me an instruction that I have to go down into this material world and I have to preach a philosophy called as Mayavadam. Mayavadam Asat Shastram. It's a bogus philosophy I will give. I will come as Shankaracharya and I will give an atheistic philosophy by which, what is that philosophy? Atheistic philosophy say, you are God, I am God, he is God, everybody is God. All of us are God. If all of us are God, we don't have to go to office on Monday and work very hard. Right? If we are God, we can manifest everything. Correct? God is the owner of everything. God doesn't have to go to office and maintain bank balance and superannuation and take mortgage. He is the owner of everything, Srishti. He doesn't have to stand outside and tell the auctioneer, bid for a house. Ishavashyam idam sarvam. He is the owner of everything animate and inanimate. Therefore, Shankaracharya gave this philosophy only to keep the atheists away. Because Krishna is such a fantastic God that he doesn't force anyone to worship him. He says, there are people who want to think they are God. I'll let them be with that conception. Mattaha smritir jnanam apohanam cha. I can give them forgetfulness of who I am. And I will make them think that they are only God. So therefore, he sends Lord Shiva to do this, and then Shankaracharya came and gave this philosophy. But the same Shankaracharya, towards the end, what did he tell? Bhaja Govindam Mudamate. Because who is Lord Shiva? Nimna Ganam Yatha Ganga Devanam Achyuto Yatha Vaishnavanam Yatha Shambhu Purananam Idam Tatha. The Śrīmad Bhāgavatam says the highest Vaishnava in the material world is who? Lord Shivji. Okay, so he himself comes and says that go and worship Lord Krishna. And that these Shankara followers, they ignore that, that part, right? So that is not to be ignored. The ultimate instruction of Lord Shiva himself is what? Worship Krishna. Even to Parvati, when Parvati is asking him, what is the highest worship? He is telling, dear Parvati, Aradhananam Sarvesham Vishnur Aradhanam Param, he says. Highest worship is Lord Vishnu's worship. So, but people will only focus on the impersonal Brahman aspect. And they ignore the higher teachings of Lord Shiva. So therefore, in this verse, again and again it is hammered. Understanding of Lord is in three phases: Brahman, Paramatma and Bhagavan. And then came Ramanujacharya, Madhvacharya. And what did they preach? They talked about the dominance of the form aspect of the Lord over the formless aspect. That is called as Vaishnavism. So they preached that through various Vishishta Advaitam, Dvaita Advaitam, right? Dvaitam, all those philosophies. But, if you hear the conversation of when Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu visited South India tour, when he was doing, he met the followers of even Madhvacharya, who are known as Tattvavadis. So when he asked them, what is the highest worship? What is your sadhana? What is the highest sadhana? All they could say was, the highest sadhana is what? That we should do our Varnashrama dharma very nicely and offer the results to Krishna. Right? And this is what Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is telling Ramananda, aage bolo. No? When Ramananda is also telling Mahaprabhu similar thing, Mahaprabhu is saying, no, tell me something higher. And then there are so many verses till it comes to Madanakya Mahabhava of Radharani. Right? So there are so many things beyond that. So then Mahaprabhu told them that yes, if I have one merit that I will give you, is that you worship the form of the Lord. That's something that I will accept from your sampradaya. At least you accept the form of the Lord and you accept Krishna as the supreme. But, so your sadhya is okay. In that sense, the goal of all your worship is, the object of your worship is Krishna. That is good. But your sadhana, the highest sadhana, is not just doing Varnashrama dharma and offering the results to Krishna. That is yes, that is a good thing, but that's not the highest. And then came Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. In my Bhakti Vriksha, just on Friday, today is what? Sunday. At the end of the class, one devotee suddenly asked me, when we were having prasadam, he said, what is the purpose of God's existence? What is the purpose of Bhagwan ka purpose kya hai? And he asked me, why did he create this world? And I gave him the usual answer. I said, Jiva's desire to enjoy independent enjoyment. No. I am not satisfied. Why did he create Jivas? You are saying Jiva desired to enjoy independently, so he created material world. Now why did he create Jivas? What is the answer? Sorry? Thank you, yeah. So people don't understand. Now see how easily you gave that answer. Because who gave us that? Prabhupada, Rupa Goswami gave us that. That is why nectar of devotion. At the outset, the best definition of God is given as Akhila Rasamrita Murti. That is the conception of the absolute truth. Even higher than Bhagavan actually. Bhagavan, Prabhupada writes in the Śrīmad Bhāgavatam preface, Prabhupada writes the conception of God and the conception of the absolute truth are not on the same plane. Because God means supreme controller, supreme proprietor, everything under his, I'm so sorry, I should have. Supreme controller, supreme proprietor. God means a person who is controlling everything. God is a manager, a big manager. He creates everything and he manages everyone. But the highest conception of God is what? That he exists to relish he derives existential bliss through experiencing the love of his devotees. Now where will that come from? Only when he has somebody external to him. Though everyone is coming from him, there needs two people for something, no? So the person said that, nahi, abhi bhi, do kyun chahiye? Why outside that jiva is? Then all I could tell him was, his wife was sitting next, thanks to him. His wife was sitting next. So I told Mataji, I looked at her and said, Mataji, you have a child now? Yes, I have very good children, 2 beautiful children. I said, maja aata hai unke saath. Bolta, kya Prabhu? Maja aata hai. Sorry, I shouldn't use Hindi. I said, do you have children? She said, yes, I have children. Do you enjoy with your children? She said, yes. I said, when was your enjoyment more? When they were inside the womb, did you pray that, oh, they are one with me in the same body, may they never come out? Or when they came out of the womb, you had better experience with your children? She said, when they came out. Because then what happened? Then I could see my chota sa small baby come out, smile at me, do all those things. Then I'll give my child a bath. Just like that. See how the mother is so lovingly, interacting with the child there, right? That's why all the jivas are coming out. Otherwise we can be in this womb. We are all in Shushupti. He is also in Shushupti, And like Keshav Prabhu was once telling, some people, when they have the understanding of God in Christianity, and what does God do? What does he do? He sits on the throne. After that, what he does? Does he come out of the throne? Just imagine, no? And if we all are God, just imagine, we'll be sitting on a throne like this. Even 30 seconds is difficult like that. He said, do something now. You can't just sit like this. In Tamil we say like a jadam. Sitting on the throne. So therefore, he has emotions. The Lord is sentient. He has emotions. And he has to have someone external of him with whom he can exchange those emotions. That's the purpose of existence of God. Obviously, then his wife convinced him, I didn't have to do anything. Arey, samjho na, kya bol raha hai? My job was easy after that, right? So we don't keep the child inside the womb only all the time. So they release the child and then interact with the child and experience motherhood, experience fatherhood, experience what it is to be a brother and a sister. If your sister was inside the womb of mother, yeah, that is one rasa. But then better was when she came out, no? You all started, you took care of her, no? In the childhood nicely, right? Did she or no? Yeah, she did? Yeah, okay, good. I'm sure you did, right? So this is rasa, and that is the highest understanding of Bhagavan. So it's not Brahman, Paramatma, and highest is Bhagavan. Now, even in that conception of Akhila Rasamna Murti, there are various rasas, one higher than the other. There are 5 Mukhya rasas and there are 7 Gauna rasas. Vibhatsaras. What are the rasas? Gopal, what are the rasas? Secondary rasas. I forgot. Raudra ras, Bhayanak ras. Yeah. Raudra ras, Bhayanak ras. So many rasas are there. These are the Gauna rasas. But the Mukhya rasas are 5. Shantaras. Krishna also likes people to take his darshan. right? Krishna, when he's performing his pastimes, he likes an audience. Just like when we give lecture, we also want audience. Correct? During COVID time, nobody was sitting. Correct? Right? So Krishna also wants of course our audience is different. We want it for our own false ego, but when Krishna wants an audience, he's giving genuine pleasure to everyone. But Krishna also likes that, I'm doing pastimes and I want the people who are witnessing it to be happy even in passive adoration. So some people's constitutional position itself is in Shantaras. They are happy just witnessing the Lord's pastime. But higher than that is active service, which is Dasyaras, active service to the Lord. But the Lord says, no. Fine, I like people who serve me, but then I also want someone to fight with me. Because the servants don't compete with me. I want competition. So he has Sakhyaras, where people, the Gopas are wrestling with him and sometimes winning. The Lord also wants to lose sometimes, right? So he wants all these rasas, and that's why he exists, right? And then, but still, Sakhyaras still has one aspect. Even when that Aghasura was there was that conception that Krishna will protect us. But in Vatsalya Ras, there is no question of Krishna protecting us. Vatsalya Ras means what? I will protect Krishna. So that is still higher, right? And then when it comes to Madhurya Ras, what is the rasa? Krishna, where will you go for protection now? That is what? Madhurya Ras. Radharani is not going to spare him. He can't go anywhere. He can't escape from Radharani anywhere. Because in Vatsalya Ras, in Madhurya Ras, the devotee controls Krishna to the highest extent. There is Swakiya and Parakya Ras, as a wife or as a conjugal lover. Even in that conjugal lover, then there is what? Left wing and right wing. Chandravali on one hand is very submissive to the Lord, and when she is submissive, the same Chandravali comes in Dwarka Leela as Rukmini, right? And there also she is very submissive. Krishna is fooling around with her. Okay, why do you, I have no jati, you should have married that other fellow. Who? Ishupal. You should have married him. And then she starts crying. And then Krishna starts laughing. He can't do this with Satyabhama. She will tear him apart. Right? So this is another ras. So Radharani comes as Satyabhama on this side. Even in Vraj, Radharani is blasting him. And Krishna is accepting all that. You black man. Right? We cannot say all that, no? Right? We are like this. Radha Vallabha ki jai, and then we'll pay obeisance. But Radharani is telling him off most of the time. And Krishna is saying sorry. Like that. So this is Krishna. This is the highest understanding of the absolute truth. So here, in this translation of today, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Vasudeva Krishna, is extremely difficult to understand for unintelligent men. People who are unintelligent, first of all, they don't even understand that Krishna is a person, God is a person, that he has any emotions, any sentiments. And they accept him as what? Impersonal or void. Even if they accept some supreme. Most of mankind is not even bothered about impersonal and void. Most of mankind has nothing to do with God, right? But the unintelligent seekers understand him as impersonal and void. But the intelligent people understand him as God. And the people who have got the highest mercy understand him as the absolute truth and work towards attaining, a relationship with the Lord in specific rasas. So that is where, that's where this chapter is ending. And if we understand this now, then we are readying ourselves for the next chapter, the advent of Lord Ramchandra, like that. And then to be able to understand his pastimes in this light. That's how the Śrīmad Bhāgavatam is flowing. Okay, I'll stop here and ask if there is any questions, comments, anything, any additions. Yes. Ask me an easy question. Huh? Take this. The time is saved.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu. Thank you for the nice class. Prabhu, you mentioned how on our deathbed, and we should be desireless to get ready to go back home, back to Godhead. Yeah. Um, and even on the way, we may get distractions from the heavenly planets, as you mentioned. But we should be fixed to go to Krishna only. But in lectures, we hear that when a devotee is passing away, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu personally comes to take the devotees hand by hand. So how do we understand, for which devotee will Chaitanya Mahaprabhu come, and for what devotee will he have to take the journey by himself?
We cannot take the journey by ourselves anyway. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has to come. There is no doubt about that. See, when we go back to Godhead, we will still be sadhana siddhas. So therefore, we go back to Godhead in two situations. That is what I have understood. There are two situations. One is we become pure devotees. So we become very qualified. And then we go back. And the basis of being qualified is what? Always being in smaran of Krishna. That is what is qualification, right? What is the meaning of qualification? Always being in smaran of Krishna in any situation of life, any circumstance. Tathenu kampam sushimikshamano. Bhunjan eva atma kritam vipakam. Ridvag vapurbir vidadan namaste jiveta yo mukti padesa daya bhak. So that is the qualification. So the moment we say we are qualified, which means we are always in smaran of Krishna. So whatever situations come in our life, we accept it as we deserve it, and actually I deserve much more than this. And when we always think like this and go through the journey of life, then we become qualified to attain liberation, which is going back to Godhead. So when we have merits, Krishna will anyway send Pushpa Viman for us. But for a person like me, okay, I have no hope that in the next whatever life has ordained for me, that any Pushpa Viman is going to come. So people like us will rely on what? Mercy. Mercy Kota. And that is why, and Mercy Kota means not even Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. The person on the left hand side. If you see Chaitanya Mahaprabhu also, he gave mercy to people like Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya and all. But Lord Nityananda was for the most fallen people who had no hope. Okay, so our hope is Lord Nityananda will, But even more merciful than Lord Nityananda is who? Srila Prabhupada, yeah. So our hope is there that Prabhupada will come. And then our spiritual master. Right? Even more merciful than that. Right? Because even Srila Prabhupada's standards are very difficult to follow. But our spiritual master very merciful. He tells, okay, you rascal, you can only do this much. Prabhupada has given so many things. Right? So the spiritual masters are even more merciful. The disciple of, they are even more merciful. I remember, maybe I'm just digressing from your question, but this is a very, very nice point. I don't know whether I said this previously here, but when I was reading this book for my wife, what is it? Dina Bandhu Prabhu's book, Rajalila Part 2, this question had come, who is the most fortunate in this world right now? And Dinabandhu Prabhu mentions that the grand disciples of Srila Prabhupada are the most fortunate, more than the disciples of Srila Prabhupada. I was thinking, oh, yeah, please tell me more about this, like that. And then he tells a story of a disciple of Srila Prabhupada. I think his name was Kartikeya, if I'm not mistaken. This Kartikeya Prabhupada likes to, have halwa, right? Okay. He likes to have, Prabhupada has this, very specific breakfast he will have, and halwa has to be there. So Kartikeya Prabhu, what he decided, I'm cutting a long story short, he wanted to please Srila Prabhupada. So he said, I'm going to make halwa in a very different way, using some different ingredient. Okay, so he made different ingredient he chose, but he made it with such love and dedication for Prabhupada. He said, today Prabhupada is going to be extremely pleased when he puts it in his mouth. And what happened? After all that effort, he went to Prabhupada and he gave Prabhupada that, and Prabhupada put it in his mouth and Prabhupada just brushed it with his left hand, not even right hand, like that. And when you brush it to the left hand, what happens? If you cook for Prabhupada and, let's say spiritual master has come home. I said, just imagine what will happen. You'll, right? We'll be crying, right? Like yesterday, in Anirudh Prabhu's program, Mataji was saying, Krishna Katha Prabhu's wife, Sri Yashoda Mataji was saying, even when Devavrat Maharaj said, coconut, which ingredient was that? Butter. She said, I was crying in the kitchen. So just imagine, if it's brushed aside, at least they honored it, no? But if you brush it aside, so can you imagine Kartikeya Prabhu's situation? Prabhupada brushed it aside. And then he came running, and Prabhupada said, what is this? What have you done? And then he came running down and sat where? In front of the picture of Bhaktivedanta Saraswati. And he cried, saying that I could not please I wanted to serve your disciple, but I could not please him with whatever I have prepared. As he was crying in front of Bhaktivedanta Saraswati, what happened? Prabhupada called him from top. Kartikeya, come up. Please give me that halwa. And then he said, Prabhupada ate everything. After that, very blissfully. Right? So, now who did he pray to? Bhaktisiddhanta. So, the grandfather is even more kind than the parents. So, therefore, the conclusion is, for us, additional mercy is there to go back to Godhead, because we are grand disciples of Prabhupada. So, Prabhupada will be even more merciful to us than his own disciples. That was that. And that gave me tremendous hope. That pastime. Right? So, therefore, we may not be able to, we may not have hope that we may be able to remember Krishna at the end of his lifetime. But if we have good relationships with devotees, then these are the devotees who will come, to our deathbed. So it's very important to have good relationships with devotees. Okay? At that time, all our ego will be shattered. When we see even people who have come after us in Krishna consciousness. Today we have this conception, I am senior, this person is junior. But it could be verily that person who could be chanting for you when we leave our body. So if we have good relationships with all devotees, then these devotees will definitely assist us. And it is through these devotees' prayers that we have any hope that in this lifetime we can go back. That's my understanding so far.
Thank you.
Okay. Anything else? Give him mic, no? Give mic to Yogeshwar going through.
So just basically in relation to this, it's very extremely difficult to understand the Lord, but it's very pertinent. I just want to make a comment, sorry about this. 4.9, Janma Karma Charme Divyam, which basically is giving us a lot of assurance that even if we know the transcendental activities of the pastimes of the Lord, we can go back home, back to Godhead.
Yes, yes. Half the battle is won when we understand Lord is a person.
Correct.
Right? Yeah, thank you. Very good point. Yes, there is one question.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, thank you for the nice class. I want to ask, like you mentioned about desire and merit. I wanted to ask
Desire and merit, yeah.
if I wanted to ask, like if someone desired to go back to Krishna in this lifetime and be thoroughly purified by Krishna, what qualification and merit do they need to receive that mercy?
To receive the mercy of Lord Krishna to go back in this lifetime, what is the qualification?
To get thoroughly purified, because there are lots of people who desire we want to face all our karmas, we want to be purified in this lifetime, but not everyone get this opportunity. Like not everyone is getting reactions of their karma in this very lifetime to go back.
This question, similar question was asked to His Holiness Radhanath Swami Maharaj. Okay, on the, I think there's a lecture on 3rd of March that he gave in Chowpatty. Okay, one person asked similar question to you. So he said that it was very similar to what you asked, but he used a different language. He said, what hope do we have, what should we do to get causeless mercy, and how will we know that we have got His causeless mercy in this lifetime? So I remember that His Holiness Radhanath Swami Maharaj answered to him saying that if your life is very smooth in this lifetime, okay, nice money, nice husband, nice wife, nice children, everything going right in your life, right? Then you will get mercy. Because you are a devotee, you will get mercy. You are in Prabhupada's movement, grandchildren, everything is there. Okay, mercy is there. But if your life is topsy-turvy, right? And extreme difficulties, big difficulties in your life, they are coming. You are getting frustration from all ends, right? You are almost coming to the brink of... So then he says that Krishna, to whoever, if someone wants causeless mercy, mercy is there, but causeless mercy, special mercy, then special mercy of Krishna comes through difficulties in life. So he will orchestrate situations in our life which are extremely difficult. And then that causeless mercy will come. No, that's why I said at the beginning of the class, we have to be very clear what we have to praying for. If we want causeless mercy, then that causeless mercy means what? That means I will give you are seeking causeless mercy. I cannot take you back to my abode without purifying you. And you have got so much of loads of karma and desires from all your previous lifetimes. So I will give you one jhatka. Jhatka means one blow in such a way that in this blow, whatever little you had hope in this material world will go away, and I will take away all your shelter which you had. Deha patya kalatra adishu atma sainyeshwa asatva api. I will take away everything, every other source of happiness that you had in this world, and I will leave you only with me and nothing else. And then you will get that causeless mercy. That's how Maharaj answered that question. Right? Yeah. Does it help you?
Thank you, Prabhupada.
Yeah, okay. Hare Krishna. Okay. Yes, somebody? Okay. Grantaraj Śrīmad Bhāgavatam ki jai. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna.